What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me on this review for 90 Day Fiance Before the 90 Days, the Tell All Part 1. So we start off with, when everybody shows up and they all meet up like in the back room or the green room or something, and they're all kind of gathered back there getting, I think for some of them, this might be the very first time that they've actually seen other cast members in person. And so they meet back there and they greet each other and they say whatever the hell they have to say to each other. Geno starts off by questioning Jimena's motives. Geno thinks that Jimena was doing all of this just for a green card or for financial purposes. And I'm like, Geno, were you not watching the show at all? Don't you remember when Jimena had said she didn't care about going to the United States? She was very happy living in Colombia, and she had told Mike several times that she didn't need his money. Kimberly says to Ella that she was trash for cheating on Johnny. No, she didn't say that to Ella. Ella wasn't there. She said that about Ella, that she thought that Ella was trash for cheating on Johnny. Yeah, it wasn't cool what Ella did, but I don't think that I will go as far as to call somebody else trash. And then Kimberly defends her aggressiveness to Ben. So Ben was basically telling Kimberly that she was way too aggressive with Usman, the way that she was like basically forcing this man to be in a relationship with her, to sleep with her, that she was just doing the most. And he gave her this example of the lion and the gazelle, and that the men are the lion and the women are the gazelle, and that men are supposed to be the one chasing the woman, and they want to actually chase a woman. They don't want a woman who's just going to be easy to get. So not only was Kimberly easy to get, but she was the one that was chasing him. And so men don't like that. When a woman is pursuing them so aggressively. He says that's probably why her relationship ended up being the way it was because she was just like really after this man, and he probably didn't like it. He wants to be the one to pursue the woman that he wants. Now, I agree with both of them. I understand the whole thing of men would prefer probably to be the one to approach a woman and to try to pursue a woman. And I think that for a lot of men, they enjoy pursuing a woman that may be hard to get, because then when they do finally get her, they feel like they're actually winning a prize or getting a prize. And I don't mean to objectify women, but I'm just trying to give an analogy. And so I can also see it with Kimberly's side of like, if you really want something, you go and you get it. And this is not the 1800s where women have to sit prettily by waiting for a man to pursue them. If you want someone, you want to pursue someone, it doesn't matter if you're a man or if you're a woman, you go get what you want. I also agree with that as well. But I also understand where Ben was coming from. So Kimberly's also, so then Memphis shows up, and in all her mammary glory, the girls were out and the dress could barely contain her. She looked awesome. She looked beautiful. Her hair, her dress, I thought she looked really nice. But there was barely enough there to cover her up top. So when she sits down, Kimberly right away tells her that Ben called her a predator, and Memphis was like, well, that's really something, that he will call you a predator of all things when he's this old man chasing these much younger women. That's kind of predatory in nature. Yeah, that kind of is. That's kind of strange, but it is what it is. But we cannot act like Kimberly was like laser focused on Usman and was going to get him by any means necessary. And it seems at times that he was even like kind of feeling intimidated by her and possibly scared of her, but she didn't stop. So it goes both ways. I think they were both kind of predatory. Moving on from that, so we get to the main event where they're all seated on the stage. Everybody is there, either in person or remotely, except for what was her name? Alina and Caleb. And we understand why they weren't there. We're not going to get into that. We're not going to waste our time talking about them, but they weren't there. So like I said before, Memphis looked so adorable in her little black and white dress. And then out came Hamza. So he was kind of like the surprise. Like no one expected Hamza to actually be there in person. So evidently it seems like, the paperwork has gone by pretty well because he made it to the United States. I don't know if it's actually the paperwork or like a special visa for a visit. I don't know how that worked, but it was really nice to see Hamza there in person. When he came out in that suit and that haircut and those glasses, I was like, Lord have mercy. I only have one word for you, Hamza. Modeling. Modeling. Wow. Yeah. So moving on. So when Hamza showed up, he immediately said hello to Usman, who was joining them remotely. And I like to see the two African men greet each other like that. I thought that was really nice. So, Jasmine. Wow. Okay, let's talk about Jasmine. Everybody I thought looked nice. Kimberly looked really nice. I like how sleek her hair was, and Kimberly looked really nice. Ella looked really nice. I thought she looked really pretty. Um I already talked about Memphis. Jimena looked, she looked pretty casual. She looked pretty normal. She looked nice too. She really didn't glam it up, but she did look nice as well. And I think the other one would be Jasmine. And I didn't understand Jasmine. I didn't understand why she had to have like 25 bundles of hair on her head. It was glaring. It was like, what are you doing? I mean, what was that? That to me did not look good at all on her. It was way too much hair. It was too much hair for someone so petite. It was a lot of freaking hair, and I didn't get it. And it was so dark. The hair itself was nice, but not on her. It was just way too much. It took so much away from her pretty face and her beautiful figure. It took so much away because all you could do is just stare at that hair. And I didn't get it. I didn't understand that at all. All season, Jasmine to me has looked just impeccable because she's like a natural beauty. She doesn't need a lot at all, for her beauty to shine through. She doesn't need a lot of makeup. She doesn't need a lot of, all the eyelashes and all. She doesn't need a lot of that. She's got so much natural beauty. I didn't understand. Like, who told her to do that? Now, I don't know if it was the wig. I don't know if she had thrown a couple of drinks, back before they got started. But Jasmine was on 10. Jasmine was a lot. I mean, she was like acting like a crazy person. The things that she said, how she was talking, it was just bizarre. I don't know if it was the wig that gave her that persona. Maybe the wig gave her some type of confidence that she normally wouldn't have, but she was just out there, and we'll get into that. But everybody else, even Mike looked nice. Geno, he looked like some kind of like a college frat boy or something with the sweater and the baseball cap. We understand the history. He still refused to take his cap off, which is fine. And, I just didn't understand the hair. Okay, moving on. So Jasmine, they talked about Geno's baseball cap, and they were like, take it off. And Jasmine said, Geno, you look so good without your hat. And she was just giving him compliment after compliment about how good he looks in his natural bald state, and he just refused to do it. So Sean said, "What is the status of your?" She was asking Jimena and Mike. She said, "What is the status of your relationship today?" And Mike said that they're still together after working it all out, and everybody cheered. And I'm like, why are y'all cheering for this dysfunctional relationship? This crazy dysfunctional relationship. There's nothing to clap for. There's nothing to cheer about. This relationship is awful. It's not a good idea that they're back together. It's an awful idea that they're back together. No cheering, no clapping for that. We have no support for those type of relationships. So we start off with Geno and Jasmine. So Geno tells us that the K1 is definitely in process. The paperwork has been submitted, so they're definitely in the midst of all of that K1 stuff. And then they talk about Jasmine's jealousy and her check-ins, and the fact that Geno had to carry the phone with him and constantly show her where he was going, what he was doing, who he was talking with. And after they showed that clip, Jasmine said that she had no regrets for being the way she is. Jasmine really does believe that the way she acts is justified. To me, it looks desperate. Like, you should never be that concerned about what another adult human being is doing. Whatever they're doing, I mean, that acting like that, being like that, is not going to stop anybody from cheating on you. It's not going to ensure any kind of fidelity. You're just going to come off looking very insecure and very crazy, and giving the other person an opportunity to come up with better ways to try to do things behind your back. That's all that's going to do. So she said that she had no regrets for acting that crazy. And she says she's constantly worrying that Geno was cheating on her. Geno denies ever cheating on her. He says that he never cheated on her, not once. So he doesn't understand where her insecurity comes from. So then Sean asked Geno, have you messaged or DM'd anybody here, any cast member here? And he said no. And of course, this is a very loaded question. Sean is obviously asking this for a very specific reason. It's not just some random question. She was definitely being very direct and she was going somewhere with this. So she asked again and again and again, and he kept on denying it, saying, no, I haven't. And then she basically just came right out and asked him, have you messaged Ben's friend, Jessica? And then he says that she messaged me. She said hello to me, and I just told her, hi, how are you doing, or something like that. So then Sean said, okay, so we went from you haven't communicated with anybody that's a part of the cast or related to the cast at all. Now you're saying that you have communicated with someone that's associated with the cast member. And he said that it was just to say hello or something. And you know, Jasmine, she's burning up. She's like, Geno, you just need to tell me the truth. Just say whatever it is now, because if I find out later what's really going on, it's not going to be good for you. So he says that, well, she said hi to me and I just said hi back to her. He made it seem so and it just doesn't make any sense. Like, why would Jessica, which is Ben's friend, who we met during one of the episodes, Ben's married friend, who was really doubting, Mahogany and her intentions and whether or not she was real. So why would she out of nowhere message Geno, telling him hi? She's a married woman. Obviously he's in a relationship. Why would she do that? Like, what would be the anyways, Geno, out of all the things that bother me about Geno, he's also an extremely bad liar. So he denies it. And so they come up with the evidence. So they brought out the text messages, or the messages that were going on between Ben and Jessica. And he had reached out to her first, asking her if she was Sicilian. And she said that she's not, but her husband is very Italian. And Geno kept on saying, no, she messaged me first. I didn't message her. And so then they asked him, well, can you show us proof that she was the one that contacted you first? And he was like, oh, I don't have that with me. And Jasmine was like, you have your phone, just pull out your phone and show us. And he said something about the messages were deleted or something. And this kind of stuff, this is what Jasmine lives off of. This is where she gets her high from. She absolutely loves this kind of stuff. You would think that, oh, Jasmine, look what a horrible liar your boyfriend is or your fiance is. You don't want to be with that for the rest of your life. Any person with common sense would be like, okay, I'm done. Jasmine, no, it just fuels her fire. It just makes her more attracted to him. It just makes her want to be with him more. And it's probably because she just loves the drama. She just probably just loves the constant fighting, the crying, the making up, and then we're crying and fighting, and then we're making up, and then I'm making you promise me things, and I'm intimidating you, and then you're scared of me. She loves that. This is what she lives for. This is how she knows that she's alive. So then they talk about the blue pill. Now, there's going to be some things here that I'm not even going to repeat because I just can't. So I'm going to do my best to make it extremely clean and extremely PG. But this is the part where I cannot believe Jasmine was saying the things that she was saying. It was awful. So they do a flashback of a conversation between Geno and Jasmine. Now, I don't think this was seen during the season because I would have remembered this conversation. So they're in the car, I think, and they're having a conversation where the plan was that particular morning that they were going to be intimate, but Jasmine wanted to go work out first. And so she left to go work out. And so when she was working out in the gym, Geno was working out alone in the hotel room. So then when she came back, he had no interest anymore. And she was upset about that. And she was like, you cannot be, working out on your own like that. If you work out, you have to work out with me. I have to be present when you work out, because when you work out alone, I see that as cheating. Really, Jasmine? Seriously? That probably puts a lot of pressure on him, and maybe that's why he feels the need sometimes, like he can't work out with her. He just can't do it. Maybe she intimidates him a lot. I don't know, but she didn't like that at all, and she was telling him that, that's for me. You don't work out on your own. You always have to work out with me. And then she proceeded to tell everybody that she just absolutely loves working out with Geno. It is so good to work out with Geno. It feels really good to her to work out with Geno. It's like the best workout she's ever had in her life. It's with Geno. And so then we learned that the last time that he was in Panama, he was there for a month, which I'm thinking it's when they were filming this, that's the month that they're referring to, and that they only had relations one time. They only worked out one time, that whole entire month. And so Sean was like, why? And then Gino says that they get into a lot of fights. And when they get into those fights, he doesn't have any desire to work out with her at all when they get into those fights. And then I think it was Mike that chimed in and said, well, if you're getting into fights because she's telling you that you're not working out enough with her, then why don't you just solve the problem and work out with her more? And to me, that made sense. This is so weird to me. The Geno thing and the lack of, I don't know if it's a lack of an attraction that he has, or maybe it's just I mean, he had what he needed to work out with her. He had his medication, so he could have popped that in and been ready to go. I'm not understanding, like, you why, if you naturally can't because maybe you have low testosterone and that's, inhibiting you. You brought your medication with you to use specifically for that. I'm not understanding. Like, you have this beautiful woman who's really into you, and I don't think, you will ever have another woman who looks as good as her that's going to be into you as much as she is. You probably will have other beautiful women if it doesn't work out with Jasmine. You probably have many other beautiful women, but I don't think you're going to have a woman who's going to be that attractive and is going to be that into you and want to work out with you as much as she does. So he can't do it. And then Jasmine proceeds to tell us that she finds him extremely attractive. And she said that all the things that are unattractive about him is what she finds attractive. I guess she was talking about his dad body. He's like, she loves his like the pudgy stomach and the little arms. I don't know what exactly she said, but basically what I got was his dad body is what she finds so attractive. And she says the things that are unsexy about him is what's sexy to her. Now, I can understand if if that's how she talks to him, how he might not be in the mood. If she's telling him, "Oh, your pudgy stomach and your pale skin and your bald head and all of these things that other women think are so ugly about you, I like it." Maybe that's what it's like, when you're basically telling him you're ugly to everybody else, but your ugliness is what I find attractive. Maybe that's like, he's like, you know what? I think I'm gonna watch TV. I mean, that could be what's doing it. The fact that you're basically telling him the things that make you unattractive, that your ugliness is what I find attractive. That's what I'm hearing. Then they talk about the whole sugar baby thing. So Geno insists that he only paid for these women, these sugar babies that he met on the sugar baby website, that he only paid them to go out to eat with him. Not just paying for their dinner, but just paying for their time. And that's all he did. And there was nothing else after that. Nobody believes it. I sure as hell don't believe it. And Geno said that because they asked him, how many times did you take out a sugar baby? And he said it was less than 5 times. Jasmine said, don't lie. It was no less than 30. I believe Jasmine 100%. Sean then says, well, what site did you and Jasmine meet on? And then Jasmine tells him, don't lie, Geno, because I will tell the truth. So Geno says he met Jasmine on a sugar baby website, which is very confusing because when they had that huge blowout fight, when she discovered that he was giving her nude pictures to his ex-wife or his ex-girlfriend, and they had that huge fight, she was constantly berating him because he goes to sugar baby websites. Well, come to find out, she herself was on a sugar baby website. And I'm just like, why would you get on his case for that if y'all met there? You yourself are on that. And then she said that she had no idea. She said that she had a friend help her. She had a friend who was trying to help her meet somebody, a friend who was trying to help her meet men. And so the friend made up a profile, and the friend put her profile on the sugar baby website. And Jasmine said that she had no idea that her friend did this. And that's how she and Geno met. I don't believe it. Jasmine is too smart. She's too quick. There is no way that I'm going to believe that she just told her friend, do whatever, and just allowed her friend to put her profile on whatever website. Jasmine knew exactly what website it was. I'm pretty sure the friend was like, hey, why don't you try this sugar baby? And I don't even think there was a friend involved. I think it was just herself. She herself put her own profile on a sugar baby website, and that's how they met. It is what it is. It's okay. Just don't lie about it. So let's take a break from them. So we're moving on to Kim and Usman. So since she's been back, she says they haven't really talked much. Who's surprised about that? Who's shocked about that? And so Usman says, well, we just started the relationship. So, we're still early in the relationship. So, okay, so Usman, if y'all are still early in the relationship, that would mean that you would talk as much as possible because y'all are really wanting to getting to know each other more. Y'all can't live without each other because it's so new. It's so exciting. There would be a lot of communication in the beginning, not a little bit of communication. So the question was, were you willing to let him have a second wife just for him to have children? And Kim said, well, this is his culture. His culture is important for them to have children. Kim, stop it. Kimberly, stop. Don't do this to yourself. You have a grown son watching you. Don't do this to yourself. You're going to sit on that stage and say that you would allow Usman to have a second wife for the sheer purpose of having children, because that's his culture. And in his culture, it is so important for them to have children to carry on the family name. Number one, you could possibly have all girls. There's no family name to carry on. Number two, if it's that important to his culture to have children, if it's that much of a priority, say it with me, class, he would have just gotten with a woman that could give him children if it was that important. But he gets with women, because now you're the second one, who are unable to bear any children for him. But he somehow has convinced you, because I don't think Lisa fell for the okie doke, but he somehow convinced you that he's going to have you for the money, but he's going to have other women for the children. Kim, so you want to support Usman and all of his 55 wives and all of their 136 children? That's what you want to do? Kim, stop. Stop. Just take the time to think about it. If it was that important, he would be with a woman that could give him children. And then he would have told you in the very beginning, I'm so sorry, Kim, I cannot pursue anything with you because, my intention is to marry a woman who is fertile and who could have children with me. Now, if you just want to, fool around, fine, we can fool around. But this is my intention. Either, if you want to date me, we'll date, we'll do whatever, we'll even get married. But I'm telling you right now, I'm going to have other children. And I'm going to have other wives for them to give me children. And that's fine, Kim. If you're cool with that, you're cool with that. But don't give him not one red penny. Let's see how willing he will be to still be with you and these other women. Don't give him one red penny. Don't assist him with coming into the United States. Don't do any of that stuff. Just be the girlfriend, eventually the fiance, and then the wife. And then he can have his other women as well who are going to bear his children for him, but don't give him any money. But if you give him money and then you help him come to the United States, you're a sugar mama, the sugar mama of all sugar mamas. Anyways, let me move on. Lord have mercy, that was so stupid for her to say, oh, that's just culture. It's important for their culture. Oh, and that's when your girl Ella stepped in and said, well, I think it's really ironic that, you talk about me cheating, but you're allowing your boyfriend to cheat. And then that's when Kim was like, first of all, that's not even the same thing. I know what he's doing. I'm giving him permission to do this. I'm aware of what he's doing. What you did was you did it behind Johnny's back. You're being deceitful. You're hiding things from him. Okay, she's 100% right about that. Yes, what Ella did is completely different. You're being deceitful, you're lying, you're cheating, blah blah blah. He doesn't know what's going on. With you, it's all out in the open, which kind of makes it even worse because it's like he's playing you for a fool and you're giving him permission to do that. You're giving him permission to do that. You're like, yes, go be with other women, have children with other women, and I will still continue to support. Anyways. So, Usman says to Kim that I will never love anyone the way that I love you, but having a child is important. Okay, it's very important to you, Usman, but you keep dating and being engaged to marrying women who are well past their childbearing years. Moving on. So then Kimberly's son Jamal enters the building and they asked him, Usman could possibly be your stepdad. And he was like, I don't see him as my stepdad. I never will see him as my stepdad because he's young enough to be my mother's son. So Jamal says that the whole relationship is very strange. He says that his mom has been taken advantage of before. And he didn't think that it was really cool for his mother to buy Usman those very expensive gifts, the PS5 and the MacBook Pro. So I think they asked him, do you think that Usman is just playing your mom? And he said that she's in love with him. And I think he loves the idea of my mom, the idea of her. Okay, I don't know what the hell that means, Jamal. I need you to talk in plain English. Your mother is definitely in love with Usman. That's without a doubt. But I think Usman, I don't think he loves the idea of Kim. Unless you mean he just likes the idea of someone who caters to his every whim, someone who is giving him money, someone who's constantly, pumping him up and encouraging him and filling up his big head, letting him think that, he's just the best thing that's ever graced the face of the earth. Yeah, he likes that, how she's constantly like your own personal cheerleader who's constantly there just to always make you feel like, you're that man. Yeah, he loves that. Yeah, he does love that. He is an entertainer and he does have a huge ego. Yeah, so that's correct. He does love that. And but I don't think it's because it's Kim or the idea of Kim. It's just the fact that there's someone. And then Jamal also said something like, he said it was very disrespectful for Usman to refer to his mother as a potential. That was disrespectful because it's kind of like you are I don't know, making her seem like less than human, like she doesn't have feelings. Like you're just gonna, I don't know, like you're just like, she's just some type of an object that you're just gonna say, okay, you're not quite where I need you to be yet, but you're just a potential. Like, who are you? Are you God? Like, who are you to tell someone they're a potential? Like, what the hell does that even mean? And then for her to just take it, for her to be like, oh yes, I miss potential. I miss potential. I love it. I love it. I love it. Stupid. So he didn't like that at all. And then, he also said something like, it seems like she's like his assistant, his free assistant, because I thought he said, but I could be wrong. I thought he said that she's helping him with his career, from overseas. Like she's in the United States, he's in Nigeria, and she's still trying to do things for him to help him with his career. And it's like, she's his assistant, an assistant that he's not paying. And in fact, she's probably paying him, giving him money. And so, yeah, the son doesn't see it for this relationship at all whatsoever. He doesn't like it. And he liked it even less when they talked about Zara. So I guess this is the first time that Kim knew about the conversation that occurred between Usman and Zara after she left Tanzania. So they played the video of him talking to Zara, and it was bad. It was so, so, so bad. And I mean, it's almost like he did this on purpose. Like he's one of those people who just can't be honest and say, I don't want to be with you. I'm so sorry. I cannot be with you because I want to be alone or I want to pursue other people or whatever. He just can't do it. Maybe it's the money thing because he still wants her to give him money. I don't know what the hell it is. Or maybe he doesn't want to break her heart. He doesn't want to hurt her feelings. He doesn't want to have that difficult confrontation. He doesn't want to have to face her anger and her pain. I don't know what the hell it is. But the way he talked to Zara, knowing that he was being filmed and it was all going to be put on the show, it was as if he was doing this completely on purpose. He wanted to hurt her. He probably didn't even give a damn about Zara. Probably didn't give a damn if Zara still wanted to be with him or not. Didn't care. He was just going to do this to like really bring pain to someone else. That's what it seemed like, because you're being recorded and you know she's going to see it and you're still going to do it. It's awful. It's awful. And so their biggest fight was over Zara and this whole music video when she finally found out that the song was about a real person and not just all the women in the world or all the Zaras in the world. And so they played the footage of the conversation. And I missed this during the actual episode, but I definitely caught it on the tell all. Is when he told Zara, "You're the first lady of my life." He told her that. "You're the first lady of my life." Not even his mother. You, Zara, are the first lady of my life. After what you've been through with Kim, after what Kim has done for you, after she put herself out there, being so open and so vulnerable, putting her whole entire feelings out on the table, opening her whole heart to the whole wide world to let everybody know exactly how she was feeling. This is the reason why Ben said, maybe it's not such a great idea for women to pursue men, because you pursue them so hard and look what happened to you. You look like a complete fool. This is the man that you chased half across the world to be with, and this is what he does to you. This is how he shows how much he appreciates you as a woman and as simply just as another human being. This is how he shows it to you, by talking to a woman that completely dumped him, by calling her up looking all sexy and whatever with the open shirt, showing his pectorals and all of that. This is what he did to you, Kim. This is what he did to you. And girl, if I ever see you trying to get back with him, trying to find excuses for him of why he did what he did, and you are still trying to be with him or you're in a relationship with him, yeah, I am going to talk about you so bad, Kim. I'm going to talk about you so, so, so bad. It won't even be funny, because I better not hear that you and him are going to work it out. Y'all are still together or whatever, because this is absolutely insane. Unless you put up a disclaimer and said, y'all, I'm doing this just for a show. I'm just doing this for money. I don't give a damn about no damn Usman. I'm just here for the checks. Then I'll let it slide. But if you come off talking about how you really want to be with this man, you want to marry him and all. So both Kim and Jamal, after they watched the footage of his conversation with Zara, they both said that this was really messed up. They go, yeah, that's really messed up. And then Usman says that he would never cheat. What? What? Okay, so you don't cheat, but you hurt people. You break people's hearts. You make people feel foolish and embarrassed. Yeah, you don't cheat. I don't know. I don't know if you cheat or you don't cheat. You say you don't cheat, that's fine. But you're making a fool of another person, knowing how much this woman feels for you and how much she cares for you, and you just turned around and made a complete fool out of her, and you think it's fun and games. The first part of the tell-all, one, good. Very, very good. Very, very interesting. I need that camera. Anyways, let me stop. Let me stop talking about Hamza. Let's stop. Let's end it here. And I really do appreciate y'all for sticking it through for this long, 34 minutes in. Thank you so much if you made it this far. I really do appreciate it. Please don't forget to rate this video. Don't forget to subscribe. And I will definitely talk to you later. Bye.